What's up, y'all? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you what's on my mind back again. Want to start off by giving a shout out to all of the new subscribers who have come through. I appreciate y'all. All of the commentators, as always, you are the best in the world. I really do appreciate that. And a couple of things I want to discuss real quick. You know, it's pretty late. Had a long day at work. About to knock out. But I just want to chime in because I haven't had a lot of time. You guys know I was taking care of my son who was sick for a while. And he had the flu. And then after that, he turns around and gets a stomach virus. So, man, I was feeling like the worst parent in the world after a while. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this kid? But he got through the stomach virus. He waited all the way to the end of winter. All winter, nothing was going on. End of winter, into spring, he got everything. So he made up for lost time, I suppose. But anyway, he's doing much better. And, it is what it is, man. But being a parent comes first. So I haven't been doing any videos or anything like that until now. And it's late, so I'm going to make this quick. I just wanted to chime in on a couple of things because, as you know, as I always say, when Mark Hamill speaks, we should all listen. Isn't that right, Ryan Johnson? But anyway, Mark Hamill, everyone's been talking about it, recently said that he's lost that love and feeling. Oh, that Star Wars feeling. He's lost that Star Wars feeling. Yeah, it's gone. 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 Excuse me. Woo! Try to do that with allergies. But anyway, yes, due to the fact that Mark Hamill's dear friend and our beloved Carrie Fisher has passed away, I think Mark Hamill is really having to deal with the reality that he'll never get the band back together again. And that's how he puts it. Carrie Fisher being gone means it's so final. Obviously Harrison Ford's beloved character, Han Solo, was brutally killed and disrespectfully killed, I might add, in The Force Awakens. Now, the most you have to hope for Episode 9, for all of us who are lovers of the original trilogy, who Disney conned into seeing this bullshit-ass trilogy with the original characters, all we have to hold on to is the possibility that maybe, just maybe, Luke Skywalker will show up as a Force ghost. And I'm sorry, I'm with Mark Hamill. That's nothing to fucking look forward to. You know what I mean? That's not what we signed on for. It's like they sold us this original trilogy by telling us, but not the original trilogy, the so-called sequel trilogy. They sold us this thing by promoting the hell out of getting the original three back on screen together. And they didn't deliver. And they think there's not going to be some type of repercussion behind that. I don't think a lot of people who are advocates for this sequel series, I don't think they realize, if you are a true Star Wars fan and you're cool with how they've gone about doing things in this new trilogy, I don't think you understand just how final this is. That we will never, ever get to see our people interact in a scene together ever again. Ever. You know what I'm saying? Carrie Fisher's gone. Han Solo is dead. Luke, I don't know what's going on with Luke at this point. But the point is that the magic is gone for all time. All we have is the original trilogy. And let me tell you something. I had the experience of watching the original trilogy probably a couple of weeks ago. And it was fucking It was fucking heartbreaking. You know what I mean? It's like I watched this thing and I was enjoying it. I was loving it. The nostalgia just had me all in my feelings. And something bittersweet happened to me at the end. Darth Vader's final words to Luke Skywalker, his son, was, tell your sister you were right. Tell your sister you were right. Luke had everything in the world to feel good about. Then he went and reunited with his friends and, they were dancing, they were happy, and we were happy. And that's the way it should have been for all time. If you wanted to do another Star Wars sequel or Star Wars set of films, you should have left the original fucking characters out if you weren't going to do them justice. But you know why you didn't? Because you wanted to con us into those seats. And then you wanted to turn around and insult us and disregard us? How dare you come up with a line like, let the past die, kill it if you have to? And you indirectly, I don't care what the fuck anybody says, you directed that to the fans, the old fans, because that's what's turned out to be the case. Star Wars is no longer for us. Okay, that's been the criticism that I keep hearing. It's for the kids. Well, then why did you market it to the lovers of the original trilogy? You must know the only reason why we went in to see those movies was because we thought we were going to get Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia on screen together. And in my case, maybe even Lando Calrissian. You know, I wanted to see them all, man. You know what I mean? And you could have killed them. Yes, they could have made way for the new characters, but you didn't have to break them. You didn't have to disrespect them. And that's what you did. And that's what's so unforgivable about this, is that you couldn't, I don't care what anybody says, Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, and especially that slug Rian Johnson could never fucking be a real Star Wars fan. None of them could be Star Wars fans, because if they were, then their vision wouldn't have been so vastly different from what everybody else's vision was. Yes, you could have killed the characters. Yes, they could have moved on. Yes, we all could have dealt with it. But what you did was so disrespectful. It was so inconsiderate. You have the distinction of being the creative team that had access to Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew. Was Peter Mayhew? Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, Peter Mayhew. I'm kind of like drawing a blank on that, whether he's still with us or not. You know, but you had access to all of these characters. You know, the music of John Williams, and you chose, for some bonehead fucking reason, not to get them all together again. Man, I got chills just in that little still shot. I don't know if you guys remember when The Force Awakens was first introduced, like they said they were in working on it, and they had that little black and white of everybody sitting around a table before the shooting even started. I was so excited, you know, as we all were, you know, but come to find out, we were, for some reason, we weren't going to be treated to seeing our heroes together again on screen. Now, it's over, forever. And this is what Mark Hamill is talking about. This is why he has no joy in coming back to do another Star Wars film. It's kind of like everyone's got that real cool group of friends that you hang out with, you know what I mean? And you have, within that group of friends, you have your elite group that you just won't go out without, you know, or it's just not going to be the same if they're not there. You know what I mean? You can make new friends, absolutely, and you can love them, but there's something about that core group that you hang out with of buddies, you know what I mean, that is a must-have. Now, Mark Hamill signed on because he didn't want to be the only holdout. You know, he already knew that Carrie Fisher had signed on, and when he heard that Harrison Ford had signed on, he's like, well, I got to sign on now. I heard him tell the story, you know? So clearly, he thought that it was going to be a situation where, as he says, the band was going to get back together. And he was cheated. He was used. They all were used. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. We can't accept this as Star Wars fans. And I'm not going to be arguing with Star Wars fans who say that they love The Last Jedi and who say that they love The Force Awakens. Hell, when The Force Awakens came out, even though it was a ripoff of New Hope and there were signs that they were going to fuck it up, like the way Han Solo went out, by the way, that was a major red flag for me. You know, Han Solo gets killed, he gets run through and thrown down a shaft. Chewbacca, in the beginning, yes, he shot Kylo Ren and everything, but I would have loved to have seen Chewbacca go rogue at that point. Rey's ass should have never sat in the Millennium Falcon. Chewbacca should have taken the Millennium Falcon and gone on a fucking murder spree with the First Order until he could catch up with Kylo Ren. If you shoot down Chewbacca and kill him that way, I wouldn't have been mad. You know, Chewbacca died trying to avenge his beloved friend. I would have loved that, but what we get is Chewbacca fucking trying to eat a porg and then partying with him. You know what I mean? Oh my God. You know, so okay, so Mark Hamill said that he's done, you know, with Star Wars. And I can't blame him. Mark Hamill, I swear, please don't give them the out of even dignifying their putrid piece of shit episode 9. Don't even give it to them. You know what I mean? Don't I think it's beyond Mark Hamill to beg, but don't even ask to come back. You know what I mean? Let them work that shit out themselves. And since the damage that they've done is so irreparable, this leads me to the next thing, which was the Solo trailer that recently came out. You know, over the last couple of days. Everyone's talking about that too. Yes, I saw the Solo trailer. And let me just say this about the fucking Solo trailer. Okay, look. What does Solo have going for it? Let me just say this. Solo has Donald Glover looking like a badass Lando. If Donald Glover fucks up Lando Calrissian, I would be totally shocked, man. Because one thing that you get from the trailer is a sense of who nails it. Like back in the original, back in the prequels. You know what I mean? When I saw Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was like, that's it? You know what I mean? Like Charlie Brown in the Charlie Brown Christmas, that's it! You know? I saw Ewan McGregor, I was like, yo, he's rocking that shit, man. You know what I mean? And I get the same feeling when I see Donald Glover as Lando. You know, he's rocking that shit. And if he fucks it up, I'll be totally amazed. You know what I mean? So, okay, he's a likable guy, Donald Glover, as it is. He's got tons of charisma, tons of talent. You know, he's likable. You know, and then you have Woody Harrelson, always a very reliable presence on the screen. I haven't seen him make too many things bad for what he's in. Usually, he's the kind of guy who shows up in a movie and he contributes to a movie. You know, he makes it good. You know what I mean? He's like one of those really reliable kind of guys. I've liked Woody Harrelson since Cheers. You know what I mean? And okay, he's welcome. He's definitely a welcome presence. I don't know why the hell Han needs a mentor, but okay, so we'll rock with that. Then we have my girl Emilia Clarke, I want to say. You know, I always get her name wrong. I hope it's Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones. You have her on there. She brings her fan base into it. She's a likable character. You know, not, you know, very easy on the eyes. You know, and then you have a huge budget. You know, so when you look at the preview, I'm not going to be the one who says, oh, it looks like shit, you know, because he looks like shit. You know, he's got a pretty solid production around him. I'd be surprised if the movie was worse than The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi is just the hellhole of bad movies. You know what I mean? It's just the hairy, freaking, dirty-ass anus of bad movies. The Last Jedi is. You know, but even The Last Jedi can be made to look good, as you can see by these bullshit commercials they have that they're selling the DVD with. You know, it's like I look at those commercials and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, it does look exciting. And of course, we all got sucked into the preview. You know, when we saw the preview, they made it look like a totally different fucking movie than what we ended up seeing on the screen. So yes, you know, the preview of Solo, a Star Wars story, does make it look like it would be worthwhile. I'm not going to be the person who just says that the movie looks like shit. As far as Alden Ehrenreich, he doesn't look like Han. He doesn't sound like Han. You know what he reminds me of? Anybody out there see Spartacus, the TV show on Starz a few years back? Love that show. You know, the show unfortunately hit a snag when the lead character, Andy Whitfield, you know I'm horrible with names, but the lead character died tragically because actually that dude fucking nailed the role of Spartacus. He was Spartacus. I remember season 1 is just, it was perfect, you know, and he was perfect in that role. And he had a very strong supporting cast around him. But unfortunately, he died, you know, and he died in the middle of production. There was a lot of things that were going on. You know, it was developing a following. It was very popular. So they wanted to keep the show going, but the star died. So what do? You know, so they went and replaced him. They replaced him with a guy who did his best. You know, I can't be mad. I don't even remember the kid's name who took over as Spartacus. But I remember the second season or whenever it was that he came in. And it was just like, oh, no, he ain't got it, man. And he was trying his best. You know what I mean? It's like by the end, he did endear himself to me, the new actor. But it was just never the same as when Andy was there. Now, you take an iconic character like Han Solo, and you take a badass actor like Harrison Ford who embodies the character, and who has been associated with the character for the last 40 years, and you take an Alden Ehrenreich, and it's just not, it's a distraction. You know, he looks like the weakest link in the chain when I watched that trailer, you know, so I'm not feeling him, but he is surrounded by something that could be good. You know what I mean? With the Donald Glover, with Woody Harrelson, with Amelia, you know, it looks like, and of course, like I said, all of the wonderful special effects and music and everything like that. And then you put this poor slob in the middle of it all. And I don't think that's enough to just fuck up the movie. You know what I mean? Ron Howard is a capable director and everything. But see, that's not what it's about for me. I'm not here to talk about how bad the movie will suck. The movie could very well suck. As a matter of fact, it's probable that it will suck. But the reasons why I can't deal with this movie is because a message has to be sent to Disney for the awful miscarriage of justice that they did to our beloved Star Wars with The Last Jedi. Disney is not hearing the voice of the Star Wars fan, or at least the critical voice of the Star Wars fan. There's a lot of people out there who say they love The Last Jedi, and that's fine. Like I said, I'm not here to be arguing with you. The problem is that Disney will not address the very real critiques of some of the hardcore fans who are not just impossible to please. We're not just sexist people. We're not just racist, and we're not just irrational. You know what I mean? That's the reason why I keep talking about this, because it's bullshit. You know, the anti-social injustice warrior bullshit is just spreading through our beloved Star Wars, and even more, like a cancer, you know? And it's like they don't, and they're hiding. They're hiding behind this front that they're putting up in front of everybody, that they're on some kind of mission to be all-inclusive. Ryan Johnson just did an interview, what was it, last week, where he was talking about, well, we need more directors that aren't white dudes. I'll leave the link in the in the comment section. We need more directors that aren't white dudes. Ryan Johnson, why don't you step the fuck down then? If you feel so strongly about it. J.J. Abrams, why don't you step the fuck down? Let a woman do it. You know, if you feel so strongly about it, don't be a hypocrite. You know, get out of the way. What do you want us to believe? There are no qualified women? There's no qualified so-called minorities? You feel so strongly about it, pass it up. But no, they're hypocrites. They're disingenuous. And the only way to get through to them is when the movie comes out to bow out. It's not about whether the movie is good or not. It's about being heard. And if we're not heard, then they're going to continue to bombard the movies with their self-righteous bullshit-ass messages. You know, they're going to continue to come up with this over substance. You know, you show me where in the last 40 years has a woman or a so-called minority been discriminated against by Lucasfilm, where someone said, no, you can't write for our films. You can't write for our cartoons. You can't be an animator. You can't do any of this stuff because you're a woman or you're a so-called minority. Y'all know I don't like that word. But you show me where this has been a problem, where they have been actively discriminating against people who are not white men. You show me that, then maybe I can get on board with your little bullshit, crusade. But I don't think you're going to find it. I think the people who grew up loving this franchise, you know, since they've been children, are the ones who started to write, who started to create their fan fiction, which, by the way, I've been getting into the fan fiction. You know, my man, I'm sorry. I want to say, let me see if I can find it. One of the subscribers, one of the commentators, gave me a link to look up, you know, so I could look at some of this fan fiction, and I actually watched it, and he wanted to know what I thought about it. My man, I think it's my man, and I hope I'm saying your name right, because I love this name. Faruna Ludaloo. He asked me to watch the Old Republic Rescue Mission. And I watched it, man. And let me tell you, it blew me away. I loved it. And I can't wait to get into more fan fiction. You are so right, dude. It's like Who needs this big Hollywood bullshit, man? That just felt so good inside. And I should leave a link. I'll leave it. Maybe I'll just pin your comment. But listen, dude, I'm just so happy. I'm so grateful because it just gave me something else to get my Star Wars fix with. You know, that was a great beginning because I've never really gotten into the fan fiction stuff. But you opened up a door, man. You turned me out, man. But thank you for that. Big shout out. Big shout out. And anyway, like I said, the reasons why I'm not going to see the Solo flick has nothing to do with whether this shit is going to be good or not. I think it was Abu Nas who said, that's what bootleg is for. Shout out to Abu Nas. That's what bootleg is for. And the Fire Stick. Okay, so there's a few options that you have if you just want to see this thing. But right now, Disney is taking advantage. You know, how dare Disney come up with a Solo movie after the way you disrespected the character in The Force Awakens? You gave him a most dishonorable discharge. And then you want to turn around. Who do you think is going to, who did you think was going to be interested in seeing a solo flick? You just disregard the old school fans, right? We got nothing to do with shit, but we're not going to be the ones to take our kids and stuff like that. You know, we're just out of the equation. You know, Disney, you're disgusting. You're disgusting. You didn't do justice to the old characters, and you think there's not going to be a reckoning for that. Well, I know that Solo is going to make a ton of money because it's Star Wars. You know, it might even be good Star Wars. But it's not going to make the money that it could have made if you had just been respectful to the core fans who are still here. We're still vital. We're a lot older than we were when we saw the original trilogy, but god damn it, man, we're not dead. And we still spend. You know what I mean? So those of us who understand that it's not about whether Solo is good or not. It's about being heard. It's about finally being heard. Because you guys fucked up Star Wars in The Last Jedi, okay? The Force Awakens, yeah, it was struggling, but it did have promise, at least, that things were going to work out. With the rest of the trilogy, The Last Jedi was a definitive and unmistakable fuck you to the fans. And Rian Johnson, for that, I say fuck you to you, Disney, J.J. Abrams, the whole shit. If you don't want to hear us in the things that we're saying, then you're going to have to hear us in the money that we're not going to spend. Because contrary to what you and people like you want to say, it's not just a few fanatics. It's not just a few irrational racists and sexist and, you know, just people who are threatened. You know what I mean? These are people who actually love the saga. And because we love the saga, we should have been shown respect. Mark Hamill should have been shown respect. Harrison Ford should have been shown respect. Yes, I know he wanted his character to come to an end, but you didn't have to do it that way. You know what I mean? And Carrie Fisher, poor Carrie Fisher, thought she was going to be coming back to something probably much more than what she got. I don't give a fuck what you say. All right? So you ruined it